Hello, everyone, and welcome to the EGR Safer Gambling Forum. Once again, in partnership with Safer Gambling Week, we are delighted to be participating in this crucial initiative to draw attention to and explore developments in safer gambling strategies across the industry. Now in its 9th year, Safer Gambling Week has seen fantastic success with 60 million social media impressions in 2024 and 1.5 million uses of safer gambling tools during the week. Here's to another successful week ahead. It's great to be coming live to everyone today on the first day of the 2025 event to kickstart some important conversations and hear integral updates from speakers representing all facets of the industry. To start, we will be hearing a panel discussion exploring the last 12 months of safer gambling best practice from the B2C side, featuring speakers from OPAP, Betfred, and the Miller Venture. Following this, we sit down with Yardena Almagor from Mindway AI to hear all about bridging the gap in safer gambling between the operator and supplier side. In our final session, we hear updates from the RET and charity sector on the work ongoing in 2025 to provide services and support research across the industry. Throughout the next 3 sessions, we encourage everyone watching to send over any questions or thoughts you might have. This forum is created with maximum space for conversation in mind, so please do feel encouraged to be a part of this today. To send over questions, please head over to Slido and enter the event code EGR Safer Gambling Forum. The QR code should be on the screen now, yes, just at the bottom of the screen there, and that will take you straight there on your mobile device, or alternatively, the link in the description above this broadcast, I'll point kind of vaguely in this direction, that will also take you there on your computer screen. Here you can type your own questions or vote on others to ensure the most anticipated questions are answered. Each of the sessions today will go live from the event agenda page of our website. If you're watching me now, then you'll have seen how to enter the broadcast. And then for the next 2 sessions after this one, simply navigate back to the agenda page and click to join broadcast on sessions 2 and then 3. If you do have any issues, please contact us through the email address that is also visible in the description above. With this all said, I'm delighted to get started on this year's EGR Safer Gambling Forum and to say a quick thank you to our event partners and sponsors for supporting us year on year. To begin and welcome our first panelist, please welcome our moderator for this opening session, Pedro Romero. Over to you, Pedro.
Hello, everyone, and I'm delighted to be here one more year at the Safer Gambling Forum during Safer Gambling Week, and it's an absolute pleasure. I was talking before with Katie that this is the 5th year, that I'm moderating this panel, and today we have an amazing group of safer gambling leaders. For those that you don't know me, so I am the Chief of Safer Gambling Partnerships at BetBlocker, and I'm also a psychologist, therapist, and safer gambling consultant. But that's enough about me. I would like for my friend and colleague, Rebecca, could you please introduce yourself?
Of course, thank you, Pedro. So I'm Becky, and I'm currently working at Betfred as a safer gambling manager. However, I have been in the industry for over 7 years now. I actually started my career in gambling as a responsible gambling specialist in 2018. So throughout the years, I've seen it grow, seen it change, worked with some big operators. I have worked in regulated and non-regulated markets, but predominantly the UK has been the most, and that's me.
Wonderful. Sabas, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, Pedro. Hello, everyone. I am Savas Iliopoulos, responsible gaming and player protection expert of OPAP SA, which is a part of Allwyn Group. I'm responsible for shaping our responsible gaming strategy from AI-powered protection tools to awareness campaign in order to create a safe environment for our customers and to promote responsible gaming and customer protection. I'm working for OPAP since 2008, close to 20 years. Thank you.
Wow, that's a long time. And last but not least, my good friend Jeremy.
That's why. Thank you for having me. Jeremy Wittenberg. currently responsible gaming manager at the Millet Venture, Malta. I used to work for Kindred since 2016. Currently, I'm 3 years at the Millet Venture, and responsible gaming is my expertise.
Wonderful. So let's crack on. So my first question is looking back at 2025, what have been the thing that safer gambling wise have surprised you the most? Becky?
Well, I mean, Pedro, as you know, I've been on maternity leave most of this year, so for me, the cost of nappies, no, I'm just joking. I guess it's hard to pinpoint exactly because working in safer gambling for all these years, not a lot really surprises me anymore. I mean, over the years, the regulation continues to tighten and get stronger, but for good reason as well. What I guess has surprised me in a positive way is that I feel operators are moving to a more consistent approach. I think that there's more alignment now between operators, which ultimately benefits the customer. But yeah, I think it's important that we don't get surprised and we just work collaboratively with the regulator and other operators and just make sure that we're ahead of anything new that's coming our way.
No, it's really interesting, what you say, before maybe was a little bit, oh, we have to do this, and now, feel that they're more engaged, like hearts and minds. What about you, Savas? Any main thing that have been a bit, whoa, wow, wasn't expecting that, particularly in Greece?
Mm-hmm. For me, what surprised me most was the pace of change on the regulatory side. New rules pushed us, operators, to innovate in player protection faster than many expected. It was really reinforced that when we combine technology, thoughtful regulation, education, of course, real positive change can happen quickly. And Pedro, for me, the responsible gaming is a teamwork, and the responsibility lies to all of us, operators, regulators, affiliates, providers, because, at the end of the day, we want all the same thing, to provide to our customer best-in-class entertainment in a responsible and sustainable way. And without responsible gaming, entertainment doesn't exist.
You forgot to mention charities.
Of course, and charities, yeah. Sorry, and charities. Yeah.
Okay, Jeremy, what about you? You work in multiple markets. Has anything, shocked you or surprised you?
I look at a bit from a distance. I like to look at the market, globally. What's happening? What are the best practices? And one thing that actually stand out to me, which was the digital wellness center. I'm just always looking for the next best thing. I believe that it's time for a revolution. We can chase KPIs all day until we die, but it doesn't mean that we will achieve our objective, which is not always, profit. We want to create a safe environment. So you need to be creative as well. And I think the microbreaks concept of Dr. Donahue is remarkable, and I think it's inspiring. We should continue to build on those creative ideas.
Okay. And Savas, I wanted to ask you, what have you been working on, in the last 12 months? Any particular project that have been, taking your, the big share of your day?
Yeah, to be honest, not this year. The last 2 or 3 years, we focused on using artificial intelligence to strengthen our safer gambling strategy. We have already developed a machine learning model we call the SafeNet algorithm, which calculates the probability of self-exclusion and identifies the first signs of excessive play even 5 months in advance, which allows us to identify high-risk behavior and make targeted communications and early intervention to high-risk customers. The impact of leveraging artificial intelligence for responsible gaming was very clear. The last 2 years, based on our target communication, we minimize excessive play from 16% to 12%. So you understand that AI helps us to protect more our customer. But the best thing will come in 1 month, close our new responsible gaming campaign, specifically to Gen Z. So we'll activate all the digital channels, social media, YouTube, affiliate marketing, TikTokers, and YouTubers in order to promote responsible gaming principles to this generation. And it will be a positive and empowering experience, turning safety into an emotional message rather than just a rational one. So I don't want to give you a spoiler, but stay tuned because the new RG campaign through the social media will be something fresh, something huge.
It's really interesting because I think over the years, I don't think like industry, or charities or other harm minimization organizations have managed, to engage, perhaps in a meaningful way, sometimes people, they think like safer gambling tools are pathological or problem gambling tools, and it's not that. I think we need to somehow, improve on the way, that we reach to people, look, this is just, an extra safety. You don't have to have a problem to use these tools. So Jeremy, what about your year? Have you been working in any, particular new project, anything exciting from your side?
Very focusing on Generation Z, our product attracts the majority of players from that generation. I actually understand today. Following generation is the alpha generation, but that's a different story. There are a lot of studies available how to communicate with this generation, and we're tailoring our communication towards this. So I really love the campaigns targeted on those generation the audience. But it's a different approach. For people of an older age, you can have an email with different types of content than a communication targeting the generation Z, which is has more images, it's more optional rather than, hey, you need to set up a limit. So you need to look at how you communicate to customers, and we are discovering that. And
You're a little bit choppy, Jeremy. I don't know if you can get a little bit closer to the mic or something. I also wanted to ask, and I wanted to start with Rebecca, because I think, these days, any panel without talking about, the illegal, and the black market, it's a bit like a must-have topic, a little bit like artificial intelligence. But from a safer gambling perspective, how can we, make sure or minimize the risk of sending players towards the illegal market, when we do interactions, when we try to get them to a safer place, because there's a thin balance, how do we interact in a meaningful way without them feeling rejected or say, oh, you know what, I'm tired of this, this website, they don't ask me for anything, so going there. So what can we ensure, that these, interactions are well done?
Yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right. And I think that if a customer is happy with your service, then they're more willing to stay. So I think ensuring that the safer gambling interactions and the safer gambling journey is a good experience for them. Just to give an example, I mean, I've had it in the past whereby the safer gambling executives will panic just because the customers said something, and rather than having that skill set and that knowledge to probe the customer further, have that confidence to do that, they've just closed the account, which ultimately, that could then lead them to going and playing with an unregulated operator. So I think it's just really important to make sure that your internal safer gambling teams have had the training, have got the tools that they need to have a meaningful interaction, that, we're holding calibration sessions as well within our teams just to assess, because what one person's risk appetite might be could be completely different from another, and we can learn from each other and share that knowledge as well, based off your own experiences on calls. And I guess just to bring it in as well, is that for our internal processes too. So are we intervening early enough? So by the time we speak to a customer, do they have time to reflect and change their behavior? Or have we got to them when it's too late and we need to close their account? And again, it could just direct them to an unregulated operator.
It's really interesting, what you mentioned about not panicking, because sometimes, team members, particularly if they have less experience, they can, panic. I remember once when I was working for an operator, there was an account and the person took 6 month self-exclusion, and the person wanted to come back, but in the account was only written a mental health. So the person was like, oh, let's not open the account because it says mental health. And they said, look, it's important to have a conversation. If a person is contacting us, just have a call and find out what happened. So basically, when they called the person, the person, told, the safer gambling analyst that at the time when they self-excluded, they were going through a lot of stress at work because they had a boss who was gaslighting the person. So they feel that they were gambling a bit too much, and they decided to take 6 months. When they called the person said that, look, this manager is gone. Now I'm in a good environment. I feel that things can be under control. The person agreed to set a small limit of £50. So these sort of things sometimes is about not panicking and having the conversation, because it is likely that if you just say, look, you just said this 6 months ago, we're not having that conversation. This person may be likely to end up somewhere that they don't even have limits. So it's a balance, and not panicking is it's important.
Yeah, and listening as well, because I mean, a customer could say, oh yeah, I spent too much on Saturday, but what does that too much mean? I could tell you I spent too much in Zara on Saturday. It doesn't mean that I have a shopping problem and I need to stop going to Zara. So, I think that's why it's just so important to make sure that we are training our teams and giving them the tools and the skill set and the knowledge to carry out these meaningful interactions.
Thank you. Jeremy, what about you? What about your team? How they make sure that we're not pushing people towards the illegal market when we interact with them?
Can you hear me? Yeah, better. All right. Our engagement needs to be at the right time and at the right moment. We have policies and procedures in place where we intervene early, but we will move quickly towards affordability checks. And it's all about keeping them engaged with us but also showing them that we care about their well-being. And I think this has a massive impact in your healthy player base.
Wonderful. Rebecca was mentioning calibration, and sometimes doing, quality assurance and all these sort of things, is really important. And we can also see a lot of good interaction, as, oh, wow, this team member really went above and beyond. Would you tell me, a little story of the best interaction that you had, with, or yourself or one of your team members in the last year, Savas?
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Pedro?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, sure. Okay, to be honest, our best gambling moment this year was when safer gambling. When technology and human intervention come here together. Thanks to our AI tools like SafetyNet, like RG email detection robot, we spotted a customer who was quietly starting to lose control. Okay, so they wouldn't have been identified through traditional checks, for example, but the system raised the flag early. So we reached out with simple, supportive message. No pressure, no panic, just guidance, options, and a reminder that we are here to help. So the customer not only slowed down their play, but actually thanked us for caring. That was a very powerful moment for me. The second is through the affiliate marketing. We spread the word about responsible gaming through Greek affiliate ecosystem. We are the first operator in Europe that utilize affiliate marketing to promote responsible gaming. For me, it's a new channel. We need to educate all the customers through different channels. It's not only television, radio, or newspapers. Now we use affiliate marketing. We use social media, and it was very good because last year we reached more than 4.5 million of impressions through our campaign. And last but not least, the more fancy was that my company, Opave SA, named Safer Gambling Operator of the Year from AGR. That's it.
Okay, wonderful. What about you, Becky?
Sorry,
with all the calibration and all that, probably you have said, wow, that was a really good one.
Yeah, I think one that really sticks out in my mind would be when one of my team members, so we had quite a young customer, I think he was only about 20, and he'd come through for a safer gambling review. At the time, we were quite lucky because he was still in a winning position. He had lost some of his winnings, which is sad, but they started the call, and he was quite dismissive, didn't really want to listen, thought he knew better, said everything was fine. And the executive on the call were kind of probing to try and build a rapport with him. So they actually started bonding over Japan and some different things that they both had interests in. And following that and being able to get a bit more of a rapport with him, she was able to then be able to talk about his activity. He was a lot more receptive. And by the end of the call, he'd gone from really not being interested to being super grateful, acknowledging himself that, maybe it's time to just take a short break for now, reflect back on how he has been playing lately. And yeah, that's then how it ended, which was really nice because it was a really big difference to how the call began.
It's it's so important, like having the human touch and be able to talk with the person, because you get, sometimes that you get companies that they're quite rigid in the process. Okay, they got big win. Now we have to stop him. the person needs to withdraw, sometimes even forcing the withdrawal. But sometimes if you don't have that meaningful interaction, okay, it's money out and can go in straight away somewhere else and be gone in no time. So if you have time, to interact with the person, so they have time to reflect and make a meaningful, and a decision on their best interest, it's always better. Jeremy, what about you?
What about me?
Any interaction this year that was like, wow, that was pretty good? Anything like Rebecca's case? Anyone that needed to be, have a proper conversation to make them reflect about the gameplay?
Our approach is based mostly on behavior and on monetary thresholds and age groups. And we're swiftly moving towards verification somebody's level of affordability and then determine with the player itself how to play in a sustainable way. And it will surprise you that some players have a lot of funds to spend gambling, or they have a lot of income, or they have a lot of assets. Nevertheless, it's always interesting to discover that even though somebody earns above the 100K per year and has enough to spend, they still would love a sustainable limit. And that just enforces what I like to do in this job and to have an impact. Because that you have enough money to spend doesn't mean that you have to spend it all. And we have multiple of those players that we can onboard, and they're really happy with us.
Okay, thank you. And I also wanted to think about next year, because okay, things are moving faster and faster. So if you have a crystal ball, what would be your predictions for, from now, so next year when we're doing Safer Gambling Week again, what do you think is going to happen, in the next 12 months? Savas?
Okay, let me think. Probably, I believe that safer gambling will be smarter, more personalized, and more proactive. Okay, AI and real-time data will help us to spot risky behavior early, while immersive technologies like machine learning, AI chatbots, and will bring new challenges. Second thing, I believe regulation will be tightened and player protection will extend beyond limits to include mental health and overall well-being. So the focus is shifting from reacting to harm to prevent it using technology, design, and care to keep gambling safe for everyone. It's about entertainment. That's it.
Jeremy, do you think that we're going to be replaced by bots, by ChatGPT, by next year, will be like 4 avatars talking here?
I love AI. It should be in our arsenal. It shouldn't replace, but it should definitely be in the arsenal. And if you can utilize it effectively, it's massive. Because it's just a communication tool, especially if it's also interactive. Um, I think that's really cool. But I would like to be more impactful. So I'm going to say this. The advantage of online gambling is also a disadvantage. But what if you can make the disadvantage an advantage again? Now it's up to us to fill that in.
Okay, excellent. Becky, what do you think is going to happen in the next 12 months? Safer gambling wise.
I think Savas hit the nail on the head, to be honest. I think we'll definitely be all speaking about AI. Now, I definitely don't think they will be replaced by avatars. I'm in agreement with what the others said, really. I think it's going to be great to utilize as a tool. Hopefully, it can enhance and help us identify risky behavior earlier. But at the same time, you're always going to need a human to carry out those conversations and have that one-on-one interaction.
All right,
can I add something,
yeah,
Pedro,
please
about
go
that?
ahead.
Sorry, because I agree totally with Rebecca and Jeremy. I understand that artificial intelligence is a buzzword nowadays, but artificial intelligence is about to help us, not to replace us. For me, we're using artificial intelligence to identify risky behavior earlier, but from the other side, human interaction remains crucial for empathy, maintain trust, and create a better relationship with the customer. So, striking the perfect balance between artificial intelligence and human interaction, I believe that we create a holistic and responsible gaming environment. Yeah. Just to be clear about AI and the human interaction.
100%. I was just a bit joking. But I remember not that long ago, when to analyze, a customer account that has hit some trigger, you have to have people, like for 15 minutes rubbing their eyes, going up and down the account, reading comments, scratching their heads, throwing some dice, to see, okay, what am I going to? So, I think, like artificial intelligence can speed up, a lot, at the end, it's important, to have, a person, hopefully, but it can make our jobs much easier and efficient. So we're going to crack on with a few questions that we have from the audience. So if anyone that is listening have any burning question, please, drop it in Slido. So we'll start cracking on with them. Okay, so first questions. Could you name the main reason why you enjoy your job at Safer Gambling? Come on, Jeremy, can see you.
I love psychology behind gambling, and this is also very attractive. I think this is the point where commercial, marketing, and RG can come together. This is a win-win situation, and because there is no psychology in marketing, why don't apply it together with responsible gaming? Then you can have a massive product. Addiction is officially known since 2013 as a disease, and we're now in 2025, almost 26. So the development, pursuing, creating a safe environment is quite advanced, so I have to say. But there's so much to gain, there's so much to win, and it's still ahead of us because we're not there yet. Okay. And that's what I love about this job. Awesome. The impact can be massive for everyone. And I want to say, if I may, the operators, they are the innovators, and they can set an example. And the regulators love innovating companies. So if you can innovate on player safety, the regulators are going to follow the innovators.
Okay. Becky, what about you? Why do you enjoy your job at Safer Gambling?
I mean, again, same as what Jeremy said, I love psychology. I've always really been into it. And I think I just like the diverseness as well. Like, no 2 days are the same, it's very different. You obviously get to help people as well, which is always nice, pretty standard, but it's always nice, when you can go home that night and think, yeah, I made a difference there.
Wonderful. And you, Sabas, why didn't end up in marketing or any other department? Why do you enjoy Safer Gambling?
For me, it's a very simple reason because I want to help our customers to remain safe and sustainable and enjoy the fun of the game. This is for me the only reason I'm working in safer gambling. And of course, because we want our customers to remain happy. We want them safe, we want them sustainable, and we are in the good side of the industry.
And now that I got you there, what do you think is the main challenge, for the gambling industry at this moment?
From my side,
Yeah.
I believe that advertising and marketing, we want ethical marketing because we want fairness, transparency to our customers. I see every day a lot of ads in television, in internet, in social media about gambling, whatever. So we need to find the balance by promoting also game of chance, by promoting also the responsible gaming tools, responsible gaming environment, whatever. So I believe that's the biggest challenge. It's the huge advertising and marketing campaigns all over the world. We need a balance for me, and we want help from regulators in order to create a safe environment for our customers. I don't like a lot of companies spamming with emails, pop-up notifications about odds, about free bets, free spins, whatever.
Okay, so that's an interesting topic,
this
the
part.
balance. Okay, what about you,
Mm-hmm.
Rebecca? What do you think? I think this is one of the biggest challenges that the industry is going to have.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially from a UK perspective, there's a lot of talk at the minute about the tax and how that might shape retail now. I'm in digital, so hopefully it's, not directly going to impact me as such, but Betfred, have quite a large retail side. So the wider business, it's, a bit worrying what could go on there, because I guess as well, we don't want the tax to get so bad that it's potentially going to, cause any problems between like a compliance and a commercial balance. You still want that to be good. You don't want there to be any friction there. Not that there would be, but hopefully it's not going to get too bad.
Okay, and Jeremy, what's your sort of take on this? So we got, marketing. We got, the tax regime. That can be a bit of something that can divert people to illegal markets. So what's your take on the biggest challenges from the industry?
I think we're in the biggest challenge of the industry. But I mentioned earlier, marketing and commercial objectives and RG, there's a psychology that binds us all. So we need to stimulate our creative brain and do something that doesn't make sense, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Because only then we can discover, because that is the goal of any company. A company's objective is not profit. It's to discover new things. And that's what we are doing now. We're discovering new things. We're seeking something that works for everyone.
Okay. Another question. what do you find most challenging, in terms of timely identification and interaction with people at risk? What's the main challenge on identifying people at risk and interacting with them in a timely manner? Anyone? Ilya?
Yeah, just one thing, the roadmap in responsible gaming, my perspective is prevention, detection, and intervention. So when you have prevention and early detection, you have better intervention. So this is the point, to run fast the data, to analyze playing behavior, so to make better target communication to the high-risk customers. This is the point, to be proactive.
Okay.
To be on time.
One last question here for Becky. How would you measure whether an interaction have been successful, or not, for a specific player? How do you, find out if, say, okay, we interact with this player, had this interaction been successful or not?
I mean, I think it's going back and looking at that player's activity following the interaction. Has it decreased? Has what they said in their interaction remained true? So, I only gamble on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights, and then you see them gambling on a Wednesday and Thursday as well, so is what they've said in their interaction remaining true? And yeah, just reviewing their behavior, their patterns based off that, see if it's declined or if it's just remaining consistent with what they said to expect anyway.
Okay. Wonderful. So we are coming to the end of the session. So we'd like to thank again EGR, for organizing this fantastic event one more year, and also EGBA and all the fantastic operators, charities, and organizations that work really hard, not only during the Safer Gambling Week, because sometimes it's a little bit when we get the spotlight, but during the whole year, because you guys, you pretty much at 24/7, making sure that we minimize harm and keep gambling as a pastime, and trying not to get people in a difficult situation. So thank you very much, and I hope that you all have a fantastic Safer Gambling Week.
Thank you all so much. And yeah, completely echo your sentiments there, Pedro. And yeah, thank you to all of our fantastic speakers here on our first session, and to everyone at home who has been sending over questions as well. The forum continues. To attend the next session, please just navigate back to the agenda page, and we'll be starting the next session, which is the operator to supplier bridging the gap. So yeah, please join us there. And thanks again to our speakers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.